The Utah chapter of Black Lives Matter has said the American flag is a hate symbol, and they know that people who fly it are racist. Now, does this mean that Democrats hate the American flag? Yes, actually it does. Now, it's actually a technicality. There's a poll showing that about 58% or so of Democrats say they do want to fly the American flag. So, hey, actually, Democrat voter base rejects this notion. It doesn't matter, however. These are the activists that are leading the Democratic Party. You can say that Donald Trump took over the Republican Party. He's the leader. Sure. And Bernie Sanders is the prominent leader on the left. Regular run-of-the-mill people who aren't paying attention aren't the ones leading the charge. This is why it's so important you speak up. We are seeing more and more in the mainstream, MSNBC, saying that the American flag, it was disturbing to see it on the back of trucks because Trump supporters are racist or whatever. We're seeing Nike shoes. When they wanted to put the original American flag on it, they canceled it. It was racist. It keeps happening. Then you get the New York Times writing an article saying that among regular people, the American flag has become divisive. Yes, it keeps happening. So you get this. Run-of-the-mill Republicans, run-of-the-mill Democrats who mostly don't pay attention, probably like the American flag. You know what that means? If you as an individual like the American flag and you speak up, chances are the people around you who are Democrats will probably agree. But they don't know this. They just follow the lead of the mainstream media that's not telling them all of this stuff, or they're not paying attention because it's not on CNN. Meanwhile, the activists very much are trying to cancel the American flag. This just means these polls show you it is safe for you to speak up. Stop being so scared. In order for these extremists to win, they must keep you subdued. That's why you got to speak up and say, nah, I like the flag. In fact, go to work, bring a little American flag and put it on your desk. And actually, here's what you can do. Here's something clever. Get a bunch of little American flags, bring them to your workplace and hand them out. And just be like, I was just doing something nice. You had the 4th of July. I gave everybody a little American flag. See how they respond. What are they going to do? Yell at you for supporting the flag? See how many people go, oh, and get all angry. Expose them for being extremists. You know why? Because then your cubicle partner, or the next cubicle over, who is a default liberal who thinks Trump is evil, will be like, oh, thanks for the American flag. That's really nice of you. And then they'll see someone going, American flags are bad. And they'll say, no, they're not. Why are they yelling about the American flag? That's right. Because I'll tell you this, I got friends. I talk to them, friends who are liberals. And when I say this stuff, they're like, that's not true. They don't hate America. They don't hate the American flag. Okay. Bring an American flag to a rally and hand it to somebody and be like, hey, fly the American flag. See what they say. They're going to be like, how dare you? See what happens when regular people have American flags that they're like, oh, that's cool. How are they going to respond? The Daily Mail reports, quote, when we see this flag, we know the person flying it is a racist. Black Lives Matter in Utah sparks outrage with 4th of July post calling the stars and stripes a symbol of hate. They say the head of the organization defended the post, which the group wrote in response to a white supremacist march that took place in Philadelphia. When we Black Americans see this flag, we know the person flying it is not safe to be around. When we see this flag, we know the person flying it is a racist. When we see this flag, we know that person flying it lives in a different America than we do. These people are psychotic extremists who are burning everything down around us. And if you don't stand up and defend your flag, the flag will not defend you back. Now, look, somebody owns a flag. They want to burn it. I'm in favor of people doing what they want with their own property. I wouldn't do it. I don't like it. I think it's disrespectful. But, you know, I'm fairly libertarian, okay? People are allowed to do what they want with their own property within reason, so long as it's safe. Don't start a fire somewhere. That's bad. But, you know, if you're in your backyard or something. Now, as for those who want to say that everyone else is the problem for flying the flag, no. Listen, you're allowed to do what you want with your property. But it is a very serious problem when the other major political party in this country is entertaining the idea that the country is bad. We do not want people in Congress who are burning the American flag. We want people in Congress who are there because they respect the flag. There's challenges. We're absolutely allowed to reject and demand the consent of the governed be honored, for sure. And if these people want to fly a different flag, by all means, But this means something serious is coming. Because if they want to fly a different flag in this country, well, they're not represented by the flag of this country. When we declared independence, we didn't fly the Union Jack, the flag of Great Britain. We flew the American flag. And they said, you are British subjects, you must fly our flag. And they said, no. Yeah, I respect that. They said, we're going to make our own country. We're out. These people are trying to take over our country. The colonists, the American revolutionaries didn't go to Britain and demand Britain give them all the power. That's the difference. They are. These people are trying to take power from our government. I'm all about you do you, right? We talk about the counties in East Oregon. They want to secede and join Idaho. I'm like, consent to the governed. If a large group of Black Lives Matter individuals, say California, were like, we want to secede from the union, I'd be like, okay. Now, to be fair, that is the more libertarian in me. And we heard from Charlie Kirk and Will Chamberlain about being a conservative. And you can quote Ulysses S. Grant when he said that the union sacrificed blood and treasure to admit these states into the union. And that debt, you can't just walk away without paying that debt. Here's the post. On Facebook, they said, when we black Americans see this flag, we know the person flying it is not safe to be around. When we see this flag, we know the person flying it is racist. When we see this flag, we know that person flying it lives in a different America than we do. When we see this flag, we question your intelligence. We know to avoid you. It is a symbol of hatred. We question your intelligence. Isn't that really, really amazing, huh? They're going to say, another commenter wrote, I love this flag and love this country. I fly it proudly regardless of what you want to call me. Another Twitter user accused BLM of declaring war on the U.S. Fly your flag proudly, the commenter wrote. If you don't have one, please get one, or even print one for your window. And prepare for the worst because it's coming. It is. Look, you can criticize America, but typically the burning of the flag was not meant to call for the dissolution of this country. I mean, sure, some people probably felt that way. When I see a flag being burned, I see it as a protest against what the government has become, but not an act of war against this country. When a group of people say the founding is racist, you're wrong. They're indoctrinating your kids. They're grooming your kids, and they're desecrating the flag. I mean, come on, dude. At a certain point, you need to recognize we are being gutted from the inside out. One Twitter user wrote, based on this tweet, I think BLM Utah should transition to BLM Cuba, and let's see if they like to fly this flag. Let's see if they like this flag next 4th of July. Respecting the flag and our ancestors who gave their lives for it, both black and white, is non-negotiable. So there was some crazy march. I don't know a lot about this group. They marched in Philadelphia. That's what they're mad about, I guess. Yo, crazy people exist. You don't see me complaining about the pride flag. I'm not going to say that about the pride. You can fly it if you want, whatever. Now, I think when they fly the flag above the U.S. flag or take the U.S. flag down for the pride flag, we got a problem. But you see how they're the extremists. They find these fringe groups and they say, all of you are the problem. They see a group of a couple dozen morons marching around and they say, every single one of you who flies this flag. And I'm sitting here with my little American flag like, yo, what did I do? I don't know what you're talking about. My family, for the most part, emigrated here. Mixed race relationship. Had kids. Fought really hard for civil rights. Found the American dream. Yo, why are you yelling at me? I like the American flag. My family had to fight tooth and nail to get here. Part of them. Dad's side of my family was here for a while, but mostly not here. Like, I don't have a family history that goes back, I think, to like, the 1600s or whatever. I think my family at the earliest was like 1800s. I could be wrong, though. It's hard to trace all that stuff back. I do know that my mom's side of the family, immigrants, yeah, they came here for the American dream. They found it. And they had to fight for civil rights. Both my grandfather and my grandmother's side both had to fight for their rights. That's the reality of this country, that anything is possible, that we can improve. Now they're threatening to just burn it all to the ground. Now you may be saying, Tim, it's one group and we don't think that they actually, that the greater Democratic Party believes these things. Okay. Look, I want to be fair. From CBS News, more Americans to fly U.S. flag this year, CBS News poll. As they have in years past, most Americans plan to fly the American flag from their homes this 4th of July. Well, it's not long since, but it's been a few days. And most also plan to watch a fireworks display, though not necessarily in person. 63% say they will fly the American flag, while 33% say they will not. Now, let's break this down. 63% say they're going to fly the American flag. Hey, I like that. That's great. 33 say they won't. Now, of that 33%, how many of them hate the flag and that's why they're not flying it? And how many of them are just like, I don't know, I don't got a flag, I don't really care that much. So that'd be interesting to see. The yes is clearly a support for the flag. The no is not necessarily opposition to it. The percentage of Americans who say they will fly the flag on the 4th of July is similar to what it's been in the past. Now it's 63. In 2020, it was 53. 2019, it was 63. Weird, right? I don't understand that fluctuation. They say most Americans of all political stripes will fly the flag, but Republicans have traditionally been most likely to do so. This year is no exception. 80% of Republicans will fly the American flag compared to 58% of Democrats and 53% of independents. In 2020, fewer than half of Democrats and independents say they would fly the flag. Check this out. In 2020, only 40% of Democrats said they would fly the flag. Now that is creepy. I find it creepy. The Democratic Party legit does not like this country. 58% of Dems now say they will. Why? Well, probably that 18% were, anti-Trump Democrats. What does this mean? It means that there is a large swath of Democratic voters who are uninitiated, default liberals who don't pay attention. So here's what you do. Buy little American flags from the store and hand them to your Democrat coworkers. Don't say anything political. Just be like, hey, I got these flags on the 4th of July. Do you want one? Some of them will be like, no, I don't want it. That's fine. Some might be like, yeah, sure. And then have them fly the flag. Because maybe when these people who do like the flag but don't pay attention get attacked and insulted and scared, might realize something bad truly is happening. I'd be interested to see what would happen if someone had an American flag on their car in New York City. Probably nothing, to be honest. People walk around with MAGA hats thinking the world's going to end, and typically it doesn't happen. You walk with a MAGA hat into an Antifa rally or a leftist rally, you might get some trouble. You fly the American flag at some of these rallies, you might get in trouble. I'll tell you this. Go fly an American flag at a Bernie Sanders event. See what happens. What I'm trying to point out is it is very dangerous for us. When we have stories like Mara Gay on MSNBC, disturbing to see dozens of American flags on trucks in Long Island. So let's talk about the moral foundations, what it means to be liberal and what it means to be conservative. Conservatives typically respect the institutions of this country and want to uphold. A conservative typically refers to people who are trying to maintain some element of the status quo. The idea academically among the idea of conservatism is the system is working, it is stable, let's improve upon it, but maintain those values that have helped us make it this far. Liberals, in the academic sense, in the colloquial sense, in the way we use it now, have no interest in our past institutions and only believe in care and fairness based on the moral foundations. So, what makes someone a conservative? Well, there are liberals and there are conservatives in the tribal sense. I think if you were to track just on tribal politics, then it's fair to say that left and right is probably the better word for it, because you've also got libertarian, centrist, populist, etc. Left and right. Clearly, we are on the right side of the culture war, both figuratively and literally. The left is something entirely else. Establishment politics and socialists working together in a very strange way. The right, however, doesn't tolerate fascists, racists. It's mostly libertarian and conservative. So what is it? What does any of this actually boil down to, I suppose? The left doesn't like the flag. That worries me. Democrats kind of like the flag, but mostly don't. It seems like we are headed towards, I guess, some kind of conflict. Because what happens when our embassies are flying the flag of a fringe minority? Let me break this down for you. If 58% of Democrats want to fly the American flag, then who are these embassies to fly the Black Lives Matter flag? Who are these government institutions to paint Black Lives Matter in the street? I think it's simple. The left doesn't care about the Bill of Rights. They don't. They hate it. They actually talk about why the First Amendment is wrong. They talk about why the Second Amendment is wrong. And they don't realize that this has been one of the reasons we've succeeded and been safe for so long. I'll put it this way. Conservatives tend to have something right. They have all 6 moral foundations in balance. Libertarians only have liberty, or mostly liberty, and liberals tend to mostly just have care and fairness. The Bill of Rights has kept us safe. It has protected us, and we look around the world at what's going on, and it's fairly bad in terms of the lockdowns and the oppression. So thank the Bill of Rights. Let's put it this way. If conservatives want to conserve the institutions that have served us well and protected us, I can respect that. If liberals don't care at all about these things, I also think fine. But if they're trying to now tear them down, there's something else. We need a different word. Left liberals have care and fairness. They don't care all that much about our institutions. But it doesn't mean they're trying to destroy them. That's the thing. Imagine this. You build a great wall, and it protects you from hordes of giant, dinosaurs or something. Your great wall defends you. You know, throughout your generations, you grew up, your parents say, that big wall we have on the horizon is guarding us from the Titans. You ever see Attack on Titan? One day, the left liberals show up and they're like, who cares about the wall? The wall is dumb. We don't need it. We need equality. Let the wall crumble for all I care. They ignore the wall. They don't repair it, but they're not destroying it. Now you have a new element that says the wall is evil. The wall is racist. The wall must be torn down. Tear down this wall. And then the Titans come in and gobble you up. That's the show, I guess. There's giant monsters that eat people or something. Anyway, the point is, just because it's old doesn't mean it's bad. Just because it's old doesn't mean you can ignore it. Just because it's old doesn't mean it should be gotten rid of. There are many old things we should get rid of. There are many old things that I think are bad. But you look at the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, the principles of classical liberalism, and they have made this one of the freest and best countries in the world. We've uplifted so many different marginalized groups. To tear down those institutions would be to tear down the wall protecting human rights. That's the problem. It doesn't mean you're conservative if you're in favor of defending human rights, though typically conservatives are the ones who want to preserve these institutions. The new element of left extremist is not the liberal type. Liberals just don't care. They don't pay attention. This new faction wants to burn everything to the ground. Don't believe me? Evanston, Illinois, canceled its 4th of July parade over COVID, but had Juneteenth and Pride celebrations. How does that make sense? It doesn't. They're using COVID as an excuse to destroy our cultural institutions. So when we celebrate the founding of this country, we have fireworks, bombs bursting in air, reminding us of the hard-fought war to win our independence from the crown. We're trying to tell our children a lesson, but over time we lose it. We really do. That lesson is not being taught in schools. It's not being taught by parents. And now people are like, ooh, pretty lights. It's supposed to mean something. You're supposed to never forget the blood that was shed defending freedom. How about the Civil War? You're not supposed to forget that either. What do we get? A bunch of lunatics tearing down statues. Sure, I don't like the statues that honor any of these people, but they don't need to honor them. They can be reminders of the things we don't like. So perhaps take the statues down, put them in a museum, and then put up some kind of plaque saying, here used to stand this statue when we did not want in any way to honor people we thought were bad. Over time, we get rid of bad things, we keep the good things. You see how it works? Just because something came from a long time ago doesn't mean it's a bad thing. There's a reason why we kept it, and there is a reason why we get rid of the bad things. If they're going to be canceling the 4th of July, if they're going to be disturbed by the American flag, at what point do we say these people do not represent this country? The United States is not a mass of power. The United States was born on a certain day, gestating over a certain period of time, with a revolution, with traditions, with founding principles. We've got rid of some of those bad ideas, and we've improved upon the country with the amendments. We have preserved the good and added more good to the mix. If you believe in those amendments and that Bill of Rights and the Constitution, then we're doing a good job, and you believe in this country. These people want to burn it all to the ground. They hate our flag. They hate our language. There's a funny meme where they're like, if you're white, you can't speak Spanish. That's weird. And the response is, may I introduce you to the entire country of Spain? These people don't realize that Spain's a European country of white people. So weird, isn't it? They don't make sense with what they're proposing. They come out right and say the flag is bad. Bad people fly a lot of symbols. That doesn't mean we lose our right to fly those symbols. I got a couple Gadsden flags. Bad people fly Gadsden flags, whatever. Bad people fly anarchist flags, whatever. The flags mean something. It's not about the person waving it. You can insult the person. The flag means something else. This American flag is a flag for everybody in this country. And if we're going to sit back and let our institutions, our cultures, our traditions, and everything be destroyed, eventually there will be no country left. Certainly there are some traditions that should go because they make no sense. Following tradition because that's the way it's always been done, stupid. But looking back at, say, like Blackstone's formulation and the Fifth Amendment and the rest of the Bill of Rights and saying, now we've always done it this way, that's actually a good thing. Let's keep those good things. We can be critical and assess the founding of this country and then seek to preserve it and improve it. These people aren't doing that. These people seek to criticize Make sure everything is framed negatively. Tell us our flag is bad, our songs are bad, our traditions are bad. They say the color of your skin is a problem. It's falling apart. Maybe the Great American Experiment was just that, an experiment. Maybe the idea of all this grand multiculturalism wasn't going to work. Because inevitably, as time changes, ideologies emerge within different cultural factions. And then, well, they don't like it. They don't like the country. They criticize the country for being evil. So there you go. Eventually, in a long enough period of time, there won't be a country. Because think about it. They'll change the name. If these people who hate this country eventually took over, do you think they would be like, we're proud of American history? No. They'd erase the history books. They'd take the flag down. They'd change the flag. They'd change the name. It's a different country at that point. Preserving your nation, is that conservative? If it is, we're in serious trouble. Because liberals, not conservatives, used to actually agree on waving the American flag. Most still do, it seems. But if this continues to fester, it's all going to fall apart. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. over at youtube.com/Timcast. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all then.